Welcome back to DayZ and billymac DayZ Adventures. Trying something new for streaming. Instead of gameplay, I'm trying to take advantage of some of the time that I spend modding and changing and updating the servers. Uh, Give me some feedback in comments, please. Tell me if you like this event, hate this kind of thing, like this kind of thing. I'll take the good and the bad and the ugly comments. But what I want to do, my vision is I want to create an event where the airdrops, it's going to be like an airdrop event, um, but it's going to have some of the best weapons on the server. So I'm going to basically get started. You're going to see me do it from scratch on a test server, and then if it works after the video, I will change it over to the regular server. So let's get started. As with all things DayZ, you start with the Steam Workshop, and what I'm going to do is I've already got a mod on my server, and I'll start right from the beginning. I always go library, home, click my DayZ, click over to workshop, and I've already got a mod. I believe it's called More Barrels. Yep, More Barrels. So, but I don't have it on my test server. So I'm going to go to my launcher, bring that over to this monitor, go to mods, go to barrels, more barrels, and I'm going to click the three dots. I'm going to open the folder in Windows Explorer. It always gives you this little warning to not mess with the files. You have to click I understand, and it opens this window. I'm going to open a second window here, and looks like let's take this one. So this one I want to be my server. I'm going to call it my server window, DayZ server. And so now it's on this is my local DayZ server. And the More Barrels mod. All you got to do is you right click it, copy, come over here. You can either right click and hit paste, or you could hit Control V. And that copies the barrels mod to your server. Next, go into the keys folder of your server, then click into the mod, go to the keys section, right click, copy, paste it in. And then if you take a look at the mod, this particular mod has all kinds of types files. I don't remember which ones I put on my live server. I don't believe I put all of these types. So I'm going to open up a window for my live server. I can look at it across the network. So I'm going to open that up in a new window. And I'm going to go into my MP missions folder and my Deer Isle server and my custom folder, and see which ones I have. I put More Barrels 1000, More Barrels 1000 Special, More Fire Barrels 1000 Special. Let me take a look at this one real quick. Okay, so this one has 1000 slot barrels, And what's nice is they're labeled with 1,000 base items, clothing, donations, drugs, events, food, gardening, and I believe there was a weapons barrel. I want to double check that. It says attachments, ammo. Let's do a search for weapons. Yep. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to just select right from the mod. You can select all of them. You can select some of them. But since I've already got it configured on a server, I'm going to do a little bit of a shortcut. And this is my test server. So I'm going to go into my MP missions folder, select my Deer Isle server, go into my custom folder, and I'm going to right click, I'm going to hit copy, and then I'm going to paste it into here. I'm going to take one more look at this real quick. The nominals come setting for 0 and min, so they won't spawn on the server. So the next thing you can do, or that I do, is I am going to, first of all, I'm going to open that custom folder in a new window. I'm going to open up the CFG Economy Core folder. And down here is where you identify your additional types file that tells DayZ to look at, tells the server to look at this folder for files. And I copied an existing types file and I basically just pasted in to create a new line, and then take your file name, more barrels, click on it to highlight it like that, then right click, copy, bring it over here. And I will warn you, one mistake that I always make when doing this, or I have made many times, is I highlight the .xml. Don't do that. Just, you want the file name needs to include the .xml. I was playing around with some other mods earlier today, and I do not want those on the server, so I'm going to just take them out by putting comments around them. Not necessary unless you have some mods you don't want to be working with. Alright, so now I've got the types file on the server. I have to go into my startup file and tell the server to take care of and to load these mods. So I've got several different startup folders or startup files. I'm going to go into my start.bat file. Now, you may use Host Havoc or Nitrado, and this step may be a little different on your server because you don't know, but you just basically, however you tell the server to start up with the mods, that's what you have to do. What I do is I go into my start.bat file and I go into this, let me move this over. It's the line that starts start DayZ server and then the dash mod section of that line. And then you can go to whichever your server window, or you can go into your mod window but you need to go and get the mod name, and it's at more barrels. So you click on it. So it's highlighted like this in blue. You hit copy and bring that over to at more barrels. All right. Now I'm going to look at, yep, I already have I'm using the Baller Z Snapu weapons and retextures on my server. So I'm going to start that or save that. So now the server will actually start up with the mod. One thing you always have to do, you always should do, even if you get files from a modder, check them out on a validator. It only takes you a minute and it'll save you a lot of heartbreak. So I hit validate. I need to get to my server to make sure. MP missions, Deer Isle, do the economy core because I did change that, validate, and no errors were found, and then the types file. Where's the more barrels file? More barrels 1000. The other thing I do like about this more barrels mod, it makes the barrels smaller. All the barrels, even the vanilla ones, easier to pick up. I'll try to remember to show you that when we get to that part. So now we've got the mods set up on the server. I'm not going to start the server right now. I'm going to move on to the next step. So the next step is to take a look at the event. And what I'm going to do is, so I'm going into my events.xml file, which is in your MP missions folder, then point to the right MP missions, the Deer Isle file, DB folder, and hit your events.xml. Open that up. I use Notepad++, and I'm going to look for air. Static airplane crate is what this is called. Is what the current event's called, and it's just it just drops a container with whatever items it needs. So I'm going to use this event. Now I want to take a look at this server. I don't know. Do I do? Yes, I do. I use a separate events folder. So in my custom folder, I have an events.xml file that's called change events. I do that to make server updates easier. So I'm simply going to copy the static airplane crate event. I'm going to copy. I'm going to go into my other events folder, and I'm going to paste it, and then I'm going to change it to static airplane crate. I'm going to be really creative. Are you ready for this? 2. And then you want to go into your child for the event, and the other folder that will be easier, actually I could probably do it right here. I'm going to go into my recently viewed files, and I'm going to look at that more barrels _1000 types file, and I wanted to use the weapons barrel. Okay, so the type name is more barrels 1000 weapons. So I'm gonna go to my event, to my child line, and I'm gonna just change over to more barrels 1000 weapons. And I am going to comment out these other two items. We're gonna maybe add some others later. So this more barrels item is not going to have any loot min or loot max, so I'm just going to leave that alone. And we'll see how it turns out. Other things to look at is some of your flags. So the position here is fixed. Your limit is based on the child, and the event is active. So I'm going to close this, and I'll close this types file, and I'll close this events file. So the file or the event needs to know where to spawn the item, and so we're going to go into our CFG event spawns file, DayZ offline DM, and event spawns. Edit that with Notepad++, and we're going to search for, I'm just going to search for static airplane crate. I'm going to use the same coordinates. You can set your own or not. So we're going to copy this event, or these event spawns, move to the top, and I'm going to paste it in, and don't forget to change the event name. Since I changed my event name to Static Airplane Crate 2, I'm going to change the event spawn to Static Airplane Crate 2. So I notice it says zone static min, static max, dmin, all that is set for 0 with a rotation of 0. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to comment out all of the spawns except one. So we'll leave the first one. And you know what? I think I'm not going to do that, because I can just search for the file, the barrel, once it goes. So now we've got an event. We've got the event spawns identified. We've got them renamed. I'm going to save this. And now we need to configure the barrel. We need to do a couple of things. I think what's more important is to go into the CFG, I'm sorry, not CFG, map group proto file. So what map group proto does is there's an entry for every item on the map that says, and it tells you what kind of loot to spawn in those items. So what we're going to do is I'm going to, the item that the airdrop event spawns is called supply box. Well, it's called static object miscellaneous supply box 1. I'm just going to take that. So I'm going to copy this entire group. I'm going to go back up to the top of the file. And I'm going to make a comment adding more barrels item. The other thing I do to make it easier for upgrading is I always, in my comments, I put the word change. So I can simply find the search and find change when it's time to update the server, which we just updated to 1.29 yesterday. So now I need the name of that file again. And I'm going to go back into change events. And I'm going to go more barrels, 1,000 weapons. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back into my map group proto. And I'm going to highlight this item, the old item, which was supply box, and I'm going to highlight it to more barrels, 1,000 weapons. Okay, so I'm not going to explain the tags to you. You're going to have to find a different video for it, or if you want me to make a video on that, I will. But here you go. So usage name, I don't want any other items other than my Baller Z weapons to spawn in this area. So I'm going to change my usage name. I'm going to change everything to air barrel, and you can choose whatever you want. Air barrel usage. And since I'm only going to have one usage, I'm going to delete those. Container name, loot floor. Category name, I'm going to call it air barrel category. And tag name, guess what? Air barrel tag. And there's a second tag name here for ground. I'm going to delete that because I only want particular items. Container name, loot floor 2. Category name, air barrel category. Air barrel tag. This tag, and delete this tag name ground. So just finish up changing these categories. All right. So now map group proto is set up. We'll save our changes. I think I'm done with the events folder for now. Lost my train of thought. Now we need to go into a file that's called CFG limits definitions. CFG limits definition. Make sure I'm on the right server. Yep, I am. CFG limits definition. And you see here, all of your limits definition are set up. So I've already done some of this work with some other projects or some other mods. So I'm going to go category name, and I'm going to copy one of the current categories, and I'm just going to rename it to my new category, which was I did an air barrel category, and create a new tag name. Air barrel tag. And I want to go back into my map group proto real quick. Did I create? I created a usage, I created a category, and I created a tag. So there's my category, there's my tag. Now I got to create the usage. Copy, paste, whoops, enter, paste, and rename air category usage. Okay, so now we've defined it in the CFG limits definition. We've defined it in the map group proto. Now you gotta define it in your types.xml file. So let's go into our custom folder. I'm gonna go into our more barrels 1000. No, I'm sorry. The weapons that I'm gonna use are in my DayZ weapons types. And pick which weapons you want. So what this particular mod is the, let me get the name of the mod for you. It is the Baller Z Snafu weapons upgrades and retextures. So what they are is super overpowered guns, super overpowered, and they have several kinds of reskins of that, of the weapons. So to give you an example, here's the BZ Snafu Baller. I'm just going to copy that, It's already in here. I'm going to hit count. So there are 81 different varieties of that weapon. If you try to put them all on your server, you are nuts. So you want to take a, let me look. Oh, okay. So I'm going to take the Tiger. What I do is I'm going to take all of the Tiger weapons. So let's copy the Tiger word. We're going to go to this weapon, and I'm going to simply, I'm going to change all of these, the category, to air barrel category, and then air barrel tag, and air barrel usage. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. Then I'm going to hit Control F, and I'm going to search for Tiger. Find the next one, and identifies, now it identifies a different weapon. And I'm just going to paste over the other categories. So find the next Tiger. Find the next Tiger. And it turns out for the skin, there's a Tiger skin and there's a W Tiger skin. I'm going to go ahead and change them both. I haven't tested all of these weapons, but they are very powerful. To give you an idea, they will one-shot a bear. So there are 8 different types of weapons, so I'm going to have to do this 8 times, well 16 times, because I'm doing the W Tigers too. I'm just simply hitting the Find Next button and then highlighting the current category tag and usage for that item, and then pasting in what I've copied. And now I've got back to where I've already changed. All right, so now I've changed the tags. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to put, I'm going to leave it for now, but I think what will happen, because I didn't change the nominals on these items, it says nominal 0. I don't think anything will spawn around the barrels, but we're going to try it. Actually, what I'll do is I'm going to change one item. The Baller Tiger, I'm going to change to nominal of 1, a minimum of 1. I'm going to come over here to the DE loot flag, and I'm going to tag that as 1 as well. So this tells the server that we want one of these on the server. It's got to go into this area, and then we want it in dynamic loot. So we're going to try that, and I'm also making a note of which one I tagged, and it was the BZ Snafu Baller Tiger. And nominal 1, minimum 1, DE loot 1. And okay, so we will close that out for now. So now we've got the loot around the barrel defined, but we don't have anything in the barrel yet. So I'm going to go into I've got a spawnable types change file. You can go into your regular spawnable types if you have it. I'm going to copy an existing item. And hit enter, paste it in. Now I need that barrel's name again. So I'm going to go down here to more barrels, and it was weapons. That gives me my type name. And I've got plenty of room in this barrel. So now I'm just going to paste this over here. And what you can do, what I like to do, is I use Notepad++ for my editing, but there's sometimes I have to copy things over from another file. And it's kind of awkward to just change the tabs. You know, click on, okay, this file. So what I do is I'm going to go over here into my Baller Z weapons types, and I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to open it with, it doesn't say, oh, edit in Notepad, which is the boring old Windows Notepad. But now I can put this here and put my Notepad++ here, and I can now for this, your items don't need to be tagged anything. They can be tagged the regular old anything you want. You can use stuff that you've tagged for another usage. So let's see, there's Gucci, there's Hello Kitty, there's the HK, DC, Marvel, Cosmic. Do they have Star Wars? I like Star Wars. Star. Nothing in Star. Okay. Joker, money. Let's see what money is. Let's try the money weapons. So now, simply copy your baller money, and this is set up so your cargo chance. I'm going to change this. And let's find more money items. And again, you can choose whatever you want. Well, what I'm going to do is I've got baller money, and I've got, so I'm going to want a baller mag. Baller mag, 250 round. And let's put a couple of mags in for that gun. This is a scope I like to use. There's a battery for the scope. Oh, and I even put some ammo in this old configuration. So, I believe that weapon uses this kind of ammo. And how I set this up is that there's a 100% chance that the baller snafu, the snafu baller money item will spawn and it will be in the barrel. And then the next one is 100% chance of a mag. And then I moved it down to 50% for the mag, 100% for the scope, 100% for the battery. And then the mags down here are all at 50% chance. And the ammo, let's change that to 100. Okay. I think we're ready to validate. So let's go over to our, I don't want that one. Validation. Here it is. We're going to validate. We click validate. Choose the file. I always sort backwards by the date modified so I can see. I've changed this. Today is April 10th, so I've changed this. Validate it. Now, validate again. I changed some things in the BZ baller weapons types file. And I don't remember if I've done the change events, so I'm going to validate that. I'm basically going to validate everything that I changed today. And that's it for that subfolder. So I'm going to go up one folder. Again, sort it by the date. We changed some things in limits definition. So that validated. Well, if I don't make an error, won't be the first time, but it's rare. Oh, no file has been transferred. Every once in a while, XML validation does that. It gives you an error. I'm going to try to just open a new XML validation window, choose my file. What was I going after? Map group proto. and the error that it gives you is no file has been transferred. So just punt. I've got another validator that I use. I don't like this one as well. This one's called Online XML Tools. And you click import from file, and it says over here whether you have an error or not. And then let's check that event spawns. Nothing. No errors. Good. And economy core folder I did. And document is perfectly valid. So we are good to go there. I think we are good to go. I'm going to close this out of Notepad. I don't need this Notepad anymore. So now I can go into my start.bat file. I'm going to double check. Yep, I needed to add the more barrels mod to this. This one already has the Baller Z weapons in it. So I think we're good to go. So if I click this, the first window that comes up is this, I call it a DOS window. And then another file comes up. This folder will come up, file, and reading mission. Once it says reading mission on your local DayZ server, I'm not going to go into how to configure that. If you want me to do a video on that, I will, or I'll point you to, if you need to know how to set up a local DayZ server, go to YouTube, type DayZ scale speeder local server. Great video will come up for you. You want to click your launcher, you want to click your LAN tab. I always refresh. There is my local Deer Isle server. I'm going to go ahead and load it up. Launching game. Love this new Deer Isle startup screen. Loading. And I don't think the character I have in this in my test server even has clothes on. Oh, looks like he's got a backpack. Yep. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my VPP admin tools and go into God mode. That way I'm not hurt about, or no way I can get hurt. I always use my ESP tools. So I click so I can see what's going on around me. It's a great way to test things. Now you can go into your XML editor. I'm going to type in weapon because what I'm looking for this. More barrels, 1,000 weapons. Now I'm going to get item stats. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 on the list. Yeah, we'll go up to this island, North Haven, because we can see there's one there and there's two on the south shore, so we can kind of check it out. Now I'm going to teleport up there, so I'm going to hit teleport tools, blow this up to North Haven. This is where you gotta, I remember it was kind of like right here, so I'm going to just double click there. That's going to put me here, and small stone. Yep, there, I believe that's my barrel. Okay, beautiful. So, I have no idea why this glass bottle is here, or the small stone. Glass bottle. But look at the weapons. So there's a white tiger predator. There's a white tiger beastmaster. There's a tiger beastmaster. So the W in the description of the white tiger. White tiger VSSK. There's a predator. So I'm going to drop this. I'm going to pick up one of these. So let's pick up this VSSK White Tiger. And it comes configured everything but a battery. It's got the mag. It's got the scope. So, oh, is the mag full? The mag is full. 100 round. And I'm going to drop this weapon. What else do I like out of this mod? The Beastmaster. I love the Predators, but I should try the Beastmasters. Oh, here's something I gotta make a note for myself. I gotta add the foregrip on the Beastmasters. That won't be a problem. I'm gonna make myself a note. Needs foregrip. While I'm here, I'm gonna see if that Beastmaster will take the same foregrip. Yep, takes the Snafu Scar AFG Black. So I'm making myself a note. Snafu Scar AFG Black. So great finds here. Now let's open the barrel and look inside the barrel. Weapons barrel, 1,000 slots, and it tells me I've got the Money Baller, and I've got the Money Baller mag, and it gave me, that needs a foregrip as well. And Since I not going to be carrying a predator, pick up this ammo. So now let's close this barrel. Oh, it's getting dark and I don't have NVGs, so hold on. Let me let's change the time of day so I have some light. There. Beautiful. One thing I wanted to show you about this mod is, so take a look at in my backpack. I'm going to go ahead and empty out my backpack. I've got a 50 slot backpack, but I can pick up the barrel. So with this airdrop, they will be able to pick up the barrel. And 56, the barrels are now 30 slots. So I want to see if I can take a predator with me. Here's a white tiger predator. I'm not going to have room. That's all right. All right. So now I'm going to go over to the south side of the island and see those other two that were there. And there we can see there's a weapons barrel there, and there's a weapons barrel over here. So let's just drop in here. Here's my guy. Because okay, so there's 1,000 slots in this barrel, and I've only got 49 slots taken up, so I could add a whole bunch more inside the barrel. You got to realize too, people, they can take the barrel with them, but they won't be able to leave things in the barrel and put it in your backpack. Okay. Yep, same thing. So we could delete the loot spawn points around. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to reset the server a little bit. So I'm going to take and do another search for the more barrel 1000 weapons. Get item stats. And there's 3 of them. I'm going to go here, I'm going to delete all. So now you'll see the barrels are gone, but that loot will still be there. And I'm going to log out, and I want to try a couple of things on the server. I can leave my game running, but I want to shut down my server. So I'm going to go here, shut that down. I want to go here and shut this down. And there were entirely too many events. I only want one of these barrels on the server at a time. So I'm going to go into my MP missions folder on my local server. And I want to go into my customs folder actually, and go into my change events. Static airplane crate. Okay, the nominal was 9, so I'm going to make the nominal 1. I'm going to make the minimum 1 and the maximum 1. So there's just 1. I'm going to experiment a little bit here, and I'm going to take the comments off from this this second line, because I think what will happen based on how the other barrels, the other static airplane crate event runs. Sorry, I had to struggle through that. It says that only one of these ever spawn at the same time. The other thing I'm going to try is I'm going to change this. There was definitely more than 4 items, so I don't think these numbers will do anything. But I'm going to hit 1 and 1. So I'm going to make the minimum 1, the maximum 1, and loot max, I'm going to say 1, and loot min 1. Let's just see what happens. I don't think that it will change. And actually, let's do one change at a time. So I've commented out these two. I've just changed the loot min and max, all of them to 1. And I'm going to change that. Let's go validate that. Okay, no errors. Great. There. The other thing I wanted to look at is, remember I changed in the types file, I changed this Snafu Baller Tiger. I changed this nominal to 1 and this minimum to 1. But the other one, for example, there was a white tiger VSSK on the ground. And even though the nominal is set for 0, it still spawned 1 in. So that I find interesting. Because they are, those are, despite the weapons not having a nominal, they're set to 0 because they're the only weapons that are tagged with that, what I tagged that item on, it still spawned it in. The other thing I'm just curious is, let's go into the regular types file. And the 2 items that spawned, there was a small stone, spear stone, small stone. So the small stones they have the tag coast, maybe because that barrel spawned on the coast. All of those barrels were on the coast. And let's see about glass bottle. I think it's bottle, vitamin bottle, water bottle, filtering bottle, glass bottle. No, no, those are tagged town and village. All right. So all we've done is we have changed the nominal to the event to 1. So only 1 barrel should appear on the whole map because I deleted the other barrels. And it'll be interesting to see what the loot spawns around the barrel, if that makes sense, because I changed the loot min, loot max on the event. So we're going to go back here to our start file, start, and again, this black's, I call it a DOS screen, will show up, and then this window shows up. And once this window says reading mission, you can go ahead and hit play and log back into the server. Again, if you're finding this helpful, please give me some feedback. If I should go slower, faster, if you find this boring, you can say this is boring, but I doubt you would still be listening if you are, if you're listening to this much. Whenever my servers reset and you first log in, it just takes a little bit, so it'll log in here in a minute. Tell you, you can really see what's going on with your server with this window. If you're ever curious, you can set up a local server and you could see. One of the things I always used to do is I used to really overload my server, and I caught on my local servers, I caught that I had a lot of search overtimes happening. So the server hasn't run enough to take out this, but let's get my VPP admin tools fired up here, get my God mode on so I don't get killed by anything, and then let's find out if there's any of those barrels on. More barrels, 1,000 weapons. Get items. Oh. Alright, we're not going to be able to do that additional testing because it hasn't started yet. The event hasn't timed out. Now it'll be interesting though. Go down here where that other barrel was, and I can turn my ESP tools on. Now I can see I don't see those weapons, so let's go. Oh, maybe I need to actually be there for the weapons to spawn in. So let's drop my guy right here. Yep. Yeah, there they are. So maybe I haven't gone far enough. But now let's teleport over to the other side of the map, the other side of this island, where that other barrel was. It was around here. And okay, I just haven't been off the server long enough for that stuff to despawn yet. And let's look one more time and see if that event hasn't refired yet. So all right, I'm not going to be able to show you that, but you guys get the idea of how to create that event. We got it firing. Pretty happy with how it turned out. And please give me a like, subscribe. Really helps me out, and make it a great day.